Hey there, Starseeds! Welcome to Beyond the Cosmic Table. We're a group of friends from different cultures, backgrounds, and beliefs. We gather around our table and initiate honest and open conversations on how energy and frequencies influence what we create around us. By expanding awareness, we're able to journey with practical guidance, leading to our highest awareness and conscious living. So, take a seat and join us at our table. In this episode, we sit with Dianne as she shares her story, where she started on her journey, which was on life support, and where she's at today, which is thriving as a healer amongst many other things. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I did.
All right, everyone. Today we are here with Dianne, and she's going to give us just a quick intro on how she got to the cosmic table here. I'm going to let her talk about her journey and what she's been up to.
Hi, everyone. I am Dianne Schaver. After years of struggling with my health, I had started looking into alternative medicines and various energy healing modalities. I met Jamie when I attended one of her classes. It was January 2016, so 5 years ago. And I felt a very strong connection with the information she shared. As she was talking, it felt like it was information I had known all along, but I'd forgotten, or there was a layer of dust on it. I booked my soul aligning with Jamie and immediately started utilizing the suggestions that she provided and slowly started to see changes in my life. When I first came to the table, I was intrigued with the experiences that I had. And I started looking into more energy related items, and the desire to learn and experience more just exploded. I had been utilizing oils and trying yoga. I became a Reiki master. So I was dabbling in a lot of other things, and the group just allowed me to be exposed to more topics, more conversations, more knowledge. I dove into the shamanic work with some shamanic classes to kind of get me going and guiding on that. It's been quite a journey, and the people around the table have encouraged me, nudged me, as I think some of us have called it, and helped me see things from a different light. One of the lessons we always hear is, as above, so below, and the things around us are actually within us. And I truly took that to heart. At times over the last 5 years, it's been quite a reflection as I do that. As I stop and look at what other people are bringing up within me and my emotions, and I see the emotion that I feel toward them, I look at myself, and it has been a complete and total wake-up call. When you realize that the world around you is simply a mirror within you, your world explodes, and mine certainly did. I'd been in a house for 26 years, and it came to my reality one day that I was going to move. 5 months later, I moved, and I got my keys to my house in 6 days. I mean, just by simply taking action from the messages and the guidance that I've been given, or that I get from people around the table, from my own spirit guides. The other huge message that I think so many of us resonate with is trust. We get information, and how many of us, you have that gut feeling. You always hear people talk about their gut feeling. But how many times do they go against it, and how many times do they follow it? Well, oftentimes when we don't follow it, you're trying to conform to society and what you've always been told that you should feel, think, or do. And, sometimes you have to just buck the system and say, this is what I'm doing. I mean, everyone here knows my story. Society always says, and doctors say, you cannot stop your prescription medication. I had a whole box of medicine, and I tell you, one day I just threw it all away. Yeah, that's totally not what I would tell other people to do. But I'd come far enough on my journey that I felt comfortable. I trusted myself that I was going to be okay. And I did. So it's just been the people that have come and gone around the table. The core of us are here. And like Avani said, some will come, and perhaps others will kind of just not leave, but should have not quite a predominant role. But you never know who's going to be around the table, and they come to strengthen the group. We strengthen each other. Being around the others, we always have a high. If it's in person, if it's in Zoom, if it's a phone call, and sometimes even a text. Sometimes if we post something on each other's websites or on our own website, the other person will see it. We recently had this where somebody posted something and another member of the tribe read it. And it was like the message was just for her that day. So we're a glue, and helping each other understand that we're just a part of a whole, but yet we are little pieces of that whole. And we all have our own energy. We all have our own stories, but it's understanding that you're part of something much, much bigger than yourself. Helps you catapult you to new places that you've never even imagined. So it's been quite the journey. I went from the quiet introvert sitting around the table, absorbing all the energy and not saying very much, to now I share some of my experiences and the guidance that I have. And one day Abby said that she was considering me a teacher. And to me, that meant the world to me, that I'd come far enough that she thought I was a teacher, that I could help other people. And that's always something that I'd always wanted to do, is just help other people. So today I'm a much more enlightened person, and I'm more able to help others than when I first sat down at the table. And that to me is such a vital part of the tribe's whole meaning, is just to help other people on their journeys. It's something we all strive for. I hope that our stories can help other people grow and learn. And that's why I went from, I hid my illnesses for years. And now I tell people flat out, because it's part of my story, and it shows people how far you can come. I mean, I was on life support, years ago when I was sick. And now I just want to inspire others that if I can do it, so can they. So that's my story.
So question for you. You talk about now you help people. Can you tell us some of the things that you do to help others? I know you've helped me a lot, especially recently with releasing emotions that no longer serve me. And you make it look so easy, but I know you did the work in order to get that. Tell us about some of the things that you do work on for others.
The main thing I think is I'm a channel. I'm a fifth energy center. So it's about communication and sharing information. And while so many have come to know me for helping to release emotional barriers within them, and that's what many people have come to know me as, but as I've recently discovered, it's channeling information. So if it's, I'm able to do that, but I'm also able to channel information about other things, tapping into people's higher selves, spirit guides, past loved ones, or even archangels and ascended masters, able to just tap into the energy field and connect with that information database. You can help others get some information that they may need about their health or where they're guided to go in life. So channeling is something that I think is the central key to a lot of my services that I offer. We recently kicked off a multi-dimensional chakra balancing, because in working with Avani today, we discovered that this was something I had done in the past. I had just done it a different way. And this way was just so much more enlightening to both the people that were involved in the little journey that we had done. So I think channeling is the central piece to a lot of it, but leaning toward the medical intuitive, because I do want to help people. Is that where I came from, is the medical field, not as a medical practitioner, but as a patient. And I just want to help people find a different way that they can heal themselves or clear their energy to allow their bodies to heal themselves, because that's what our bodies were designed to do.
I'd like to ask you, you're such an inspiration to me, and I want to know just like your process, because I know a lot of people are probably wondering too, from the beginning when I met you, and it was emotional barrier releasing, or we called it emotion code releasing at the time, and it all started with reading a book, and then you kind of morphed that into your own thing. And then you grew from there. But like, what did you do? How did that progression happen from where you were when I met you, what was it, 2.5 years ago or so, to where you are today? Like, what do you think, what inspired actions did you take? Because it takes work. I mean, I know this firsthand. and because my growth has been a lot slower, I feel. And so I look to you as inspiration for myself. So I want to know, what did you do, or what do you do? How did you move from where you were then to where you are now?
Trust your feelings. So when I started, like you said, the emotion code is the book is where I started. I was reading that, and I would use a pendulum with a chart to come down to the emotion that needed to be released for myself, for others. And one day I was using my pendulum, and I realized when the pendulum said yes, I felt this wave of energy run through me. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. So over time, I began to trust that flow of energy that I felt through my body. I'm clairsentient, so I feel energy. And so I slowly got rid of the pendulum, and I was just trusting. I was finding the emotion off of a chart. And oftentimes now, when I hear the emotion in my head, even before I've looked at a chart, I'm able to clear it. One of the things I do in my sessions is I infuse positive energy. So that came from the Reiki part of it. So there was another podcast on how I evolved with all of that. But the thing is trusting your gut, as I said in the beginning. You know, when you get the intuition, like, oh, look at that, how that makes me feel. One thing for so long, I mean, I always called myself emotionally frozen because I didn't really show much emotion. I just kind of went with the flow. I'm in my real day job, I'm a CPA, so it's just routine based. But when I started to feel the differences from doing different things and stepping outside the box, and that's something I think we all should do. You know, stepping outside your comfort zone is where you learn and grow. And like Avani was saying, you know, we expand our consciousness. You know, a lot of times I'd think, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But I was thinking about things that nobody else was that I knew of. You know, I was thinking about dimensions. I was thinking about how can I project my energy to someone's DNA and infuse positive energy into their DNA with my intention and my focus to help heal them. How can I channel, you know, an organ? Organ's just an energy. Just as a passed over loved one is an energy. Why can't I channel what a heart has to say to somebody? Why can't I channel what a liver has to say to somebody? Thinking outside the box is where ideas grow. So, and that's why I said, you know, so much of this group has been fantastic because topics come up that I would have never thought about on my own. But, you know, one of us will mention it, and then it kind of grows and morphs, and we think outside the box on how it can benefit us or how we can twist it and use our own gifts to help other people. So much of it's intention and wanting just, you know, the pure heart and joy in our hearts to help other people. So trust, I think, is the biggest word on how everything kind of evolved. And I would recommend for anyone else, you know, go against the flow and step outside the box.
That resonates with me so much. And I battle with that all the time. I honestly do, because I've had moments where I have trusted and I've received the most amazing information. I've had the most amazing experiences, whether it's meditation or ideas flowing through. But then there's other times I don't trust myself. And it's honestly, it's been like, I've been flow, and it still is. And I keep thinking it's going to, you know, I'm going to have more and more trust. And somehow I still don't trust enough. And so I'm glad that you mentioned that today, because I'm going to remember that now. I'm just going to remember every time I'm struggling, Dianne says to just trust.
Well, the other item too is be okay with being wrong. I mean, do you think every reading I did in the very beginning, I was right? But I've trusted myself enough to know the information that I channel, it may not be, quote, right in my eyes, but the words that I channel when I start working with somebody are words they need to hear. And it's the way that they're going to understand the message. So like when I see visions, as I'm channeling information or something, yeah, I'm seeing something, but what I'm seeing is simply a matter of being able to put a concept in somebody's mind so they can understand it in their terms. Because it's not about me. I mean, I'm just a channel. I'm like a funnel. I get the information and I channel it through my body, my vocal apparatus, as they tell me. But the person receiving the message is going to be the one that's going to make sense of that. I always used to think, when I was first starting shamanism, we were working in partners and a lady came to me and she's just like, she asked me a question and I got armadillo. Well, I hadn't heard the word armadillo in forever, but I'm like, trust this word. It's, armadillo. I told her the word, and I gave her a little story on what I saw. And to her, it made complete sense. That story alone helped me a lot of times when I was struggling with something that I'd gotten for somebody else. It made absolutely no sense to me. It was kind of crazy. Sometimes they're off the wall, but the person would understand it completely, or they would in short order. I've had so many of my clients call me like a week later or text me or send me an email saying, you said this last week and then this happened. And I was just like, me, of course, I don't remember the message because the channel, I was just giving it to you, but it made sense to them. So being okay with being wrong is probably another part of your trust. You don't want to be wrong because that's in our society. Oh my gosh, you don't want to be wrong. There's no wrong and there's no right. It's just as long as your intentions are pure, there's no wrong.
And the more you trust, the more you're going to get.
Yep.
It's just that's the universal law.
Yeah.
So put yourself out there and you'll get it.
Yes, you will.
Thank you, Dianne. This is great. Did you have anything else to ask of me?
Yeah, just the last question, just as we finish off. Can you tell us what you were 5 years ago and what you are now, how that's changed?
Oh, I was a completely different person 5 years ago. I was on so much medication. I was scared. I was listening to doctors that the only thing that had gotten me was, I quit counting at 15 surgeries, but I think it was 18 surgeries. And like I said, they've taken organs out of me, and I was, the last straw was when I went to a medical doctor, and he took my case before a board of doctors because he went to a convention, and he came back and I was so excited. And the consensus is we don't know how to fix you. We don't know what's wrong with you, and we don't know how to fix you. That's when I knew. And that was like 2 months before I had met Jamie at her class. I knew it was my job to fix me. It wasn't anybody else's. So that was me 5 years ago. And me 5 years later, I'm understanding that, like I said, I can channel an organ. I can channel an energy. I can understand how I could perhaps help other people, be an example that you can heal yourself. Because I did. Like I said, I pitched that box of medicine. Don't recommend that. But you can heal yourself. But the key thing is remembering it's getting the icky energy out of the way so your body can heal itself. That's what our bodies were designed to do, to heal. And now my hope is to share that with other people, to just shine some light to other people that there are other tools, there are natural tools, there are oils, there's crystals, there's understanding readings from, tarot cards or soul alignings. There's understanding the foods that we eat. I mean, Kim, you're fantastic with that, and how our bodies can use that food as medicine. Because I think the Chinese were right all along, the food is thy medicine. And people, the last thing I, do really want to add is that people don't understand the energy around you has a huge impact on your energy. Either people, toxins in your environment, the clutter in your homes, all of those things are energy. And when you can start to look around and look at the quantum gap, which is between us and other things, when you can see the energy between things, you understand that space and open places are so important. So, yeah, changed a lot in 5 years, and I'm excited for the next 5.
The great thing about you, Dianne, is that when you learn something or when you grow and you expand, you take us along with you. And I really appreciate that. If you learn something new, it's not like, oh, no, I do it. It's like, you know what? I want you to experience it too. And I really appreciate that about you.
Well, I enjoy sitting around the cosmic table with all of you every single week, every single day, and sometimes for hours on end as we have. So I love you guys.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Such an inspiration right there. I walked away with an important reminder to always trust. Thank you, Dianne, and thanks, Avani, for hanging out for the conversation. If you're interested in learning more about Dianne and her services, please visit her website at balance-mindbodyspirit.com. You can also find her under the same name on Facebook and Instagram. And if you decide on scheduling a session, you can use coupon code podcast25 for 25% off any service. I'll add this in the show notes too, so you don't have to remember. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know with a rating. Ratings help our show get in more ears. Please subscribe if you haven't already and share with anyone you think may be into our topics of discussion, especially this one today about becoming your own healer. We're on Instagram, so follow us on there too. Okay, thanks for listening.